justice and equality and I don't know where I'm going with this. I wanted to make it like a cool civil rights intro, like a cool like BLM intro, and then I just ran out of things. I was like, justice and equality, those things need to happen. Like, I have to be honest, I'm horny for justice. It's time to fucking serve justice. I'm tired of the systemic racism in this country, and it needs to be addressed. And that's why I have an amazing episode for you today with my good friend, Charlene Westbrook, everybody. We're going to talk about the BLM movement. We're going to talk about what it means to be an ally. It's a great episode. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. But before we get into this week's episode with Charlene, I want to tell you about things that I love. Weed and socks. Maybe you're out there listening and you're like, I had no idea you loved weed and socks, Sarah. How interesting. Please tell me more. I'd love to tell you more. Anybody who knows me knows that I love fashion. I love things that are eccentric. I love a printed sock. It's true. You heard it here. I love a printed sock. That's right. I have a sponsor, Oh Yeah Socks. You can check them out at ohyeah.com. They have every type of sock you could ever want. They collaborate with different graphic designers to bring super fun designs. They have everything from alien socks to Bob Ross socks to socks for men, women, children, slippers. They got alien socks. You name it, they got it. And guess what? You're still going to wear fucking socks, pandemic or no pandemic. You know, socks are a great gift. People still need them. You're still going to wear them. Why not get a fun printed sock? Why not have a little bit of an adventure with your socks? It's the least you can do, you know? Bring a cool vibe to the protest. Wear a printed sock. You heard it here on Shank. Go to ohyeah.com, enter discount code SARA10, SARA10 for 10% off. And you can follow Oh Yeah Socks on Instagram at Oh Yeah Socks. Okay, I'll link to that in the description. I do love weed. I briefly mentioned that as well. What about weed? So many different things. It's been a great way for me to hide from my anxiety. It's been a great way for me to refocus my energy on what's important. It's been an important tool for me, especially during this pandemic and now these race wars. Gotta have my weed. And if you know me, you know I've been to a lot of different dispensaries. I've been to a lot of different shitty dispensaries. I've been to a lot of dispensaries that, frankly, haven't really impressed me. But the best dispensary I've ever been to is actually a sponsor of this podcast. You can follow them on Instagram at Libra Shop. And yeah, they're Budristas. I'm calling them Budristas because they're not just bud tenders. They know what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? You walk in there and you tell them what you're looking for, and they're able to accommodate you better than they're experts, is what I'm fucking saying. They're experts at Libra. They actually care. I went in there, I was like, I need a good CBD. They're like, we got you, girl. They gave me a Care by Design CBD. Instantly helped with my anxiety. Okay? Check them out. Support them because they support the show. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode with Charlene Westbrook, everyone. Here it is. Thanks so much. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Shank. I'm Sara Weinshenk, and today's guest is activist, actress, abolitionist. Did I hit all the things?
You hit all the things. Writer,
director, producer, Charlene Westbrook, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hi. We're so happy to have you on the podcast. Mostly because, first of all, let's tell everyone how we met.
Oh, my God. Okay, we met doing background work.
Background acting work.
Yes, and I think it was on The Muppets.
It was 100% on The Muppets.
Yes.
I was like, I wonder if she's going to remember if it was on The Muppets or not. Because I remember we were sitting there doing background on The Muppets, and the people who were running the show were insane.
I mean, the people that were there doing background were insane.
No, 100%. Everyone at The Muppets was insane. Mm-hmm. And I remember that they were really weird about the puppets.
They were so weird about the puppets. I mean, the puppets are kind of like they're iconic. I get it.
Yeah, they kept saying, okay, I remember they said the puppets are A-team. When they're out, we do not touch the puppets. We did not. I was like, whoa, dude, this is a whole other world.
Oh, I mean, totally. But we're there for the Muppets. It's like they're the stars.
Yeah.
They're the real stars.
It was really mostly about the Muppets. So that's where we met. And then ever since then, I don't even know if I've ever seen you since then.
I did see you once.
Oh yeah. You did tell me that. I probably blocked that out of my mind because I probably bombed. You came to one of my bringer shows.
Yeah. Does everyone know what a bringer show is?
A lot of people who listen to this are fans of comedy.
Cool.
But a bringer show is when you're forced to bring audience to perform. So that means... Okay, so that was probably pretty early in my comedy career.
I mean, you were probably doing it for like maybe 3 months.
Okay, you know what's crazy? I got into doing comedy because from someone who I met doing background at the Muppets.
Really?
This crazy guy who ended up going crazy on me and calling me a cunt and whatever. That's neither here nor there. Yeah. And that's not why we're here to talk.
I mean, we've all been called cunts, right? We're women.
Yeah, exactly. So he called me a cunt. I met him. He's another person I met doing background on the Muppets. Haven't talked to him since. So
yeah. I mean, you were honestly the only sane, chill person there.
I know. I remember us just getting along really well. And you were there with your husband.
Yep,
Nick. And I was like, I like this couple. They're fun.
Yeah, we were chill. We were just talking about you yesterday because I'm like, I'm going to go do Sarah's podcast. And he's like, oh my God, she was the only normal one on that entire set. Like, with the whole... I will say this.
That's a wild statement. Dude. Yeah. I'm the only fucking normal one.
It's true. I will say this about the Muppets, though. Getting to see Kermit the Frog do Rainbow Connection is like a highlight of my life.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes. I just remember being so overwhelmed by the whole experience. Like they were brushing Miss Piggy's hair, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So since then, what have you been up to? I mean, you've been doing acting and writing and producing.
Auditioning. I really kind of found my way into writing, directing, because I couldn't get a job. That's it. I had a really difficult time finding management, finding an agent. I felt like I was totally unseen. I remember I had this manager who was like, can you do a British accent? And I said, yeah, why? And he's like, maybe you just pretend to be British.
No.
Maybe in your next audition, you just come in and you pretend to be British. And I'm like, I actually don't feel comfortable with that because I'm not British.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. And he's like, well, Brits are really hot right now. And I'm just concerned because you seem to be more reserved and you're not really like an urban type.
No.
So maybe being British is a great idea for you.
No.
Seriously. Yeah.
See, I 100% believe that because even as a white woman in Hollywood, it's hard to get seen. That's why I had to do stand-up because it was like, okay, now I have some control over my own career. I can write. I can get on stage. I'm not waiting for opportunities that aren't coming.
Totally. I mean, as a stand-up, it's like you're writing, you're directing, you're editing yourself. You're doing all of this like in real time. Totally. And we have to, as women, and especially as women of color, we have to like really hustle for ourselves.
Totally. So, okay, I want to talk a little bit about being an ally.
Okay.
I know that you don't have all of the answers, but I want to have this conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have. I want to use my platform to bring more awareness to what's currently going on with the BLM movement. Movement. That makes sense. Okay. And yeah, especially as a white woman in the cannabis space. You don't have to do that much research to find out how fucked up and corrupt the whole fucking system is.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just a modicum and you see right away.
It's like beyond disturbing. And a lot of the stuff that I found has made me very disturbed and really upset. And that's why I want to have this conversation because I'm here, promoting cannabis and its medicinal benefits. I'm a huge advocate of the cannabis plant. I think, it's brought my life nothing but joy.
Same. Exactly same.
So when I see the other side of it, that it has ripped families apart, that there are people behind bars for selling weed, that is now used pretty much everywhere, all the time.
Still behind bars, too.
Still behind bars for nonviolent cannabis crimes.
With longer sentencing than their white counterparts. It's honestly despicable. One of the things that I think about a lot when it comes to this kind of medicine, because I really do think it's medicine. I mean, it sounds like it's radically changed your life. It's changed my life. Is the fact that this medicine is actually indigenous to by Black, Indigenous people of color. This is a medicine that has been in our culture, in our history since record, you know?
Yeah, there's a book that I just started reading. The Emperor Wears No Clothes. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
My friend just told me, or somebody on Instagram told me about it. I started reading it and I was already, you don't have to even read that much without being disturbed.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's literally like, you don't have to do that much research, but just do some.
Just a little bit.
Just do a little bit. And then if you're a human, you'll start to get it. That's how I feel. Like, I don't know. My eyes have just been so opened over the last couple weeks, and it's so weird that it's taken the last couple weeks for it to really click.
I mean, I really feel like that is by design, though. You know, I remember watching, remember when food documentaries were super hot?
Yes.
I watched one of the food documentaries, and there was this photo of this, like, disgusting factory farmed meat. And on the meat was this little rural looking family farm. And they were talking about how this is by design. Like Monsanto and all of these big factory farmed businesses, they actually want to trick you into thinking that you're having this sort of family experience.
Yeah.
And that's the same with white supremacy. It's an indoctrinated belief that we all are kind of given when we're born. It's a brainwashing that happens, and it's really important in that brainwashing for that to stick, that if you are white and you're moderate and maybe you're progressive, that you just don't see it.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose.
Right. But it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it.
For sure.
I feel like that's why it needs to be discussed. And I think that it's kind of everybody's job, especially white people's job, to fight for equal rights.
I would agree with that for sure. I mean, we're not the one who've built this.
No.
You know,
yes.
We built generational wealth for y'all.
Yeah.
Like through the economics of slavery, which are still in practice. That same system is still here through our prison systems. I mean, we've got prisoners who are making free products for giant corporations.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's truly, truly insane. I feel like it's a giant mess that we're all in, and it's all up to us, especially white allies, to make a big difference.
Yeah. And there's just so much work that needs to be done. And we can already see that it's starting to work, you know? Like, and it hasn't been that long. So that's a positive thing to focus on. I like to look at the things that are happening that are positive, but there's just still so much work that needs to be done.
For sure. I mean, I feel like just listening to things like this, as this is not necessarily, like, this is a great entry point, I think.
Totally.
This is an amazing entry point. Your socials is a great entry point. If you can listen to any other podcasts, watch any documentaries.
Totally. I put on my Instagram page, if you guys are wanting more information, there's a BLM highlight. So if there's petitions to sign, there's organizations to donate to, and I'm just going to keep updating that as the time goes on. Because I feel like this stuff just needs to be out there, especially leading up to this fucking election. Let's get this guy out.
I hate Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump.
I never really even talk politics. I feel like it's pretty obvious. I smoke weed. Like, you know, I love everybody, but it's like these things need to be talked about.
I mean, he's vile.
He's fucking disgusting. When he's holding the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is, I can't with you.
I mean, it looked like it was going to burst into flames or something. It was terrible.
I wish it just did.
I know. We're like, do you see? This is the person that you've elected. This is the person you follow.
I mean, I cannot believe that he's the fucking president. It doesn't get any, like, I don't understand how we went from Obama to Trump.
I know, but do you remember SNL? Do you ever watch it?
Here and there.
Here and there. Me too. It's whatever.
Yeah,
It's
we
whatever.
could pull up whatever we need
Oh,
to
amazing.
if you want.
Okay, cool. Well, there was right after the election, sorry, there was an episode. That episode I think was hosted by Dave Chappelle, and Dave
Okay.
Chappelle and Chris Rock came on and did this sketch where they were at a watch party, and it was like they're waiting, everybody's waiting for the results of the election. Everyone's completely sure that Hillary's going to win. Trump wins. This entire watch party, but Chris Rock, but Dave Chappelle, they're all white and they're shocked. And Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock are just like, yeah, we saw this coming. So I would say in the black community, we're very unsurprised.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, yeah, especially if you grow up in a bubble. Like I grew up in LA, or if you grow up in New York,
Or like any big city at all.
yeah,
East Coast, West Coast.
you don't realize that the middle of the country is this racist still.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, I grew up a woman of color living in primarily white communities, like rural communities. I didn't live in any big metropolis or city, and my personal experiences were terrible. I was terrorized by children my own age, by classmates.
Just terrible. Would they just not want to play with you?
I mean, for example, like I remember nobody would play with me. Nobody would say hi to me. I finally made my first friend when I was like 7 years old, and I got invited to go to her house. I walked to her house. I walk there with her, knock on the door. Her dad opens the door. He looks at her, calls her in, and then I stand out there looking at the open door, and then the closed door. And then she comes back after like 5 minutes, opens the door and says, "My daddy says I can't play with a nigger." And I had to turn around and walk back.
No.
Yes.
That's so disturbing.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I mean, I didn't have any friends as a kid for a while, so I totally like that. But it was never because of the color of my skin. It was just because I was fucking weird. And people were like, "This chick's weird. I don't think I want to hang out with her." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But to be judged by the color of your skin as a kid.
Yeah, as a child. I mean, this is why I've been sharing a lot on my own social, a lot about anti-racist resources that you can give your children, because they're getting subliminal messaging about Black people whether or not you talk about race at all in your house. That's why it's so important to share that with them, to talk to them about race.
Totally. I remember when I was little, my mom's half Puerto Rican, and so when she grew up in New York, but her dad wasn't around, and her whole family was Irish, but she has darker skin. But everyone in her family has like white skin with like red hair.
Okay,
so she didn't even
she stood out.
Yeah,
for sure.
so she didn't even know she was Puerto Rican. They told her she was Italian until she was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was like that's how racist this area was.
Wow.
Like everyone was like white Catholic, and so she thought that she was Italian. Then she found out she was Puerto Rican, and she told me that when she was a kid, people used to be like really mean to her and say like they wouldn't play with her. They wouldn't say, "Oh, and they would say it's because you look like that
or you're dirty."
Yeah,
that
like,
kind of stuff.
that type of stuff. And she told me that when I was a kid, and I remember because my mom's like the best person in the world, so I remember thinking, what the fuck? But that's where the conversation needs to start. It needs to start in your families at home.
For sure. I mean, that's a really easy way to make a big change, is just having these conversations with your racist grandpa who's got bad jokes.
Yeah.
With your weird uncle.
Yeah.
With your super, super old grandma who keeps using the word colored or nappy.
Yeah.
These are the things to say. This is what I think, too. I mean, a lot of people want to say that this generation, that older generation, that they just need to die out before this can change. They're never going to change or whatever. I think it's still important to have that conversation because they're using cell phones, they're using escalators, they're using technology. They can learn new things.
Yes.
They can.
Yes. They're still here.
They're here and
Right.
they have an impact. And they're oftentimes like the matriarch or patriarch of their families.
Yeah. And that's where it needs to start at home. I
For
think.
sure.
And then there's also the documentary on Netflix. I haven't finished it. I watched a little bit of it and I started bawling. 13th.
Yeah, I highly recommend that. Ava DuVernay. It's not only just super informative, it's really interesting and it's very well shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I recommend that. And then I also have a list of other resources that you can educate yourself with on that subject on my Instagram.
I mean, 13th is super... I think it's essential viewing for anyone who's an American because it just goes to show how slavery has never really been abolished. It's just re-evolved generation after generation. And right now it's operating in our prison systems. And that really highlights it.
Right. And also the Last Prisoner Project. That's a organization that I'm supporting right now and trying to bring more awareness to because they specifically deal with the cannabis space. So, guys,
Amazing.
make your donations.
Yeah.
Just donate. Instead of buying a shirt,
make a donation, sign a petition. That's a great way.
Signing a petition takes no time.
No time at all. There's a lot of those on Instagram. There's a lot of those like pre-filled emails that go to congressmen.
Yes, it's so easy to do those too. You can easily. I emailed Garcetti last week.
Oh my God, Garcetti! I cannot fire Chief Michael Moore. If you live in LA, you know what's going on. This man has got to go.
Did you see the clip of "Suck my dick, I yield my time"?
Yeah.
Can we find that, please?
Oh my God, I love that. I saw so many signs protesting too that were that.
Suck my dick, I yield my time.
Exactly.
So basically what happened was there was a Zoom phone call and they allowed 500 people to come in, basically.
He got raised. Oh my God, his ass got handed to him.
And he had to fucking sit there and just take it.
Yeah, I mean, good job.
Yeah, and it was so fun to watch.
It was truly joyful. I love nothing more than justice being served. Like,
no,
it's my
I know
fetish.
I know. I tweeted "horny for justice."
Yes.
I was like, I feel that way.
I mean, come on! Don't you all want to just like come together?
Yes. Okay, let's see. Here's the video. We're playing it up right now.
Okay, cool.
The LAPD is slaughtering peaceful protesters on the street. I had two friends go to the protest in Beverly Hills a couple days ago, and the protest was peaceful. And so the police showed up with their excessive violent force, shooting rubber bullets and throwing tear gas. Is this what you think of protecting and serving? Because I think it's bullshit. Fuck you, Michael Moore. I refuse to call you an officer or a chief because you don't deserve those titles. You are a disgrace. Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
I love it.
So good. Every time it's just so good.
I know. I mean, I feel like someone needs to just put some backing music to that.
I think somebody did online. I don't know. Anthony, will you see if you could find it?
Oh, really?
Someone
did
remix? I don't know, though. I saw it there's been so much happening.
Oh, my God.
It's been so much information.
Every single day, it's like just information overload almost.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're feeling that too.
I'm feeling that too. I mean, I am by no means an expert. I'm the expert of my own experience.
Well, I mean, your own experience is something that is still valuable that people need to hear about.
And I have lived the Black experience, which is somewhat universal in a lot of ways. But as far as things, I'm learning something new every day. I had no idea how corrupt the police force was.
No, me either. I knew I didn't really like them.
Yeah.
I was always I don't really fuck with these guys.
Totally.
I've had not that great of experiences with them, and I'm a white woman. I can't even fucking imagine what it must be like as a Black mother to have a little boy or a little girl even. What the fuck?
I know. And I mean, I don't have a child, so I can imagine I can go there if I let myself, though, just through my own lived experience. But the thing that is really shocking to me is the corruption with the police union, with the way that things are. It's almost impossible to get rid of these officers in a lot of ways because of things like qualified immunity, which basically means if they commit a crime, or sorry, not a crime, if they have an excessive use of force, it has to be exactly done before by another officer for them to go. So it's if they fired their gun and shot someone and it was in the woods, there had to have been someone who had done that before in order for that officer to go. There has to be precedence.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and this is something that's in the police union. I mean, they'll throw the whole weight of the union behind this too to just get these things to go away. It's really hard to get rid of bad cops for that very reason. I definitely recommend looking into police unions, looking into qualified immunity. John Oliver did a Last Week Tonight. It was the one that was on Sunday.
Okay.
I highly recommend watching that entire episode. Not only is it hilarious, but it gives you a lot of insight into what's going on in our police force. I mean, they're bringing in this guy. I actually shared him and you shared him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So he was featured on John Oliver like 2 days later after I found out about this dude.
Okay.
This dude is a fucking psychopath.
What's his name again?
Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman.
Okay.
So this guy has spent 20 years working in the military training soldiers. Now that he's retired, he's going around on this big, he does like road shows pretty much, where he goes to hundreds of police departments around the U.S. and he trains officers into believing that they're soldiers. He has a method that he calls killology, which is basically aim, shoot, shoot. Yeah, this is him. He's a fucking psychopath, but this is the guy that is
no
training.
shit.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Killology Research Group.
Mm-hmm.
The psychological effects of combat.
Mm-hmm. So we are literally militarizing our police, and we've been doing so for a really long time. It's no wonder that they're killing us. They're trained to kill us.
I mean, that's fucking insane. I also read something that said I don't know how many states it was, but a lot of states, there's no, police are able to have sex with the fucking prisoners,
Just,
right?
super outdated laws. I saw that too.
I was like, oh, you can just fuck me now?
I mean,
what?
The guy that murdered Breonna Taylor, one of the police officers that murdered Breonna Taylor, is a repeat sex offender. He has multiple allegations of sexual assault, and nothing has come of this. And she still hasn't seen justice.
No, that needs to happen. I have a link to that petition also I have a link to the petition to get those officers arrested on my Instagram.
I mean, but that's like another thing. They entered her apartment with
8 of them or something.
Yeah, 6 of them. They shot her 8 times.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 of them, they shot her 8 times. They entered her apartment with a no-knock warrant. I definitely recommend looking into these. These are warrants where if you can just come into an apartment, you don't have to knock, you don't have to let the inhabitants know that you're even coming. So what ended up happening was that they opened up, came into her apartment. Her boyfriend was there. Obviously, he thought that there was someone breaking in, because he had no announcement that the cops were coming, and he grabbed his gun and fired and wounded an officer in a leg. What ended up happening is that they just went haywire, started firing off shots, killed Breonna Taylor. She died in her hallway with 8 shots, and they turned off their body cam footage, which is another thing that a lot of cops will do. So the body cam footage is not there.
Which...
Mm-hmm.
First of all, to come into somebody's fucking house and kill them is fucking crazy to begin with.
Yeah.
For literally nothing.
And not even just knocking on the door either.
Busting
busting them.
Just busting in, you're fucking asleep, and 8 people show up unannounced for no reason.
Yep.
I thought maybe I read something about her boyfriend and weed.
I
But
mean,
I'm not sure. But that's what I mean, though. That's another example of that's not a reason to bust through somebody's door and fucking kill them.
No, well, I mean, since the Nixon administration started the war on drugs, that was a calculated effort to get rid of the black community, to terrorize the black community. One of Nixon's top aides, he was in domestic affairs. What is this guy's name? John Ehrlichman. There's a quote from him where he says something like, we knew that we had to get rid of the progressive left, and the hippies and the blacks.
Oh, yeah. I think did you share that?
I shared that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so they criminalized marijuana, or sorry, I don't want to use that term, cannabis.
We're no longer using
We're
marijuana.
no longer using that. Reason being is because that term is a term that they thought, they meaning the Nixon administration, thought sounded similar to, it sounded ethnic.
Oh.
Yeah. They thought it sounded like ethnic, so they started calling it marijuana. So a more
No, we're not calling it that
so a more
anymore.
accurate term is cannabis. So it's just so deep.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, so the quote, we knew that we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities.
First of all, these people need to smoke weed.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh,
I'm
I
like,
saw
can
a
you
sign.
just get high? Can you just do mushrooms?
Totally.
What can we do to get through to you fucking psychopaths?
I saw a sign that said cops need to do ayahuasca, and I was
Yes.
like, fuck yes.
Have you done ayahuasca?
You know what's so funny is that I'm going on a retreat in a month.
You are?
Yes.
Are you going to like Peru?
No, there's one. I'll tell you where later.
Okay.
I'll tell you where later, but I'm going on like a 3-day retreat with Nick to do it.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm excited to talk about that. What made you decide you wanted to do it?
Well, I did DMT a few years ago.
Okay, did you break through?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Tell me about your experience.
So my experience was wild. It wasn't ideal because I went to somebody's apartment. I went to someone's boyfriend's apartment and ended up doing it there. So it wasn't like I was in this beautiful
No,
environment.
it's okay.
Or
I smoked
something.
it one time in the hall of the Comedy Store.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Now that's not a beautiful experience.
Yeah, it wasn't gorgeous. But yeah, I went to someone's apartment. I totally broke through. I had, I guess, what they call like an ego death.
Okay.
Yeah. Where
You left your body.
I totally left my body. I had no recollection of who I was, what my name was, where I was, if I was human, anything like that. And I sort of just went into space. And when I first started going out, though, I was holding on because one of my tendencies is when I feel uncomfortable, I get really, really tight and controlled. And so I was trying to control the experience. And it got very dark and very scary. And it's literally the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Before you let go.
Before I let go. And I just remember feeling like my consciousness was so small and there was something huge outside of me that was just screaming at me and angry at me, and it was like all of the evil in the world basically coming at me.
Whoa.
And I was so afraid, and I just said please, and then all of a sudden it broke out open, and it was like this beautiful, loving, healing experience.
Did you like interact with like weird entities?
I saw a few weird entities. I mostly felt like I went back into the womb, though. Like
that's cool.
The womb of the earth.
The womb of the earth?
Yes.
What was it like?
It was just so full of love, man. It was amazing.
I love that.
I know. It's like we are all one. We are all divine reflections of this one thing. It's like it's not about skin color.
100%.
It's not about any of this. We're one human race.
It's so crazy because I feel like it's like, let's fucking make alcohol illegal. Let's legalize fucking mushrooms, psilocybin, ayahuasca.
I just bought stock in psilocybin.
You did? Yeah. I didn't even know you could buy stock.
You can buy stock in psilocybin companies.
Oh, shit. That's what I'm doing
tonight.
Get
on that shit.
Yeah. That's genius.
Yeah.
Because that's the future, man.
It's next.
Because it's like, I don't know. I think if you're it's like these people need to smoke weed. They need to do mushrooms. They need to see what's really
They
up.
do. And I mean, one of my friends was actually just talking to me about this, one of my black friends, and they were saying, what's with like the 60s, the allies that we had in the 60s? Why were there so many woke white people? And I was like, drugs, psychedelics, man.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, because it just takes you into the heart of who we truly are. It's true insanity. Racism is insane.
It's actually, yes, 100%.
It's like a mental illness. It doesn't make any sense on any level except for an economic power capitalistic level. Which what is money? What the fuck is money?
100%. It's like a make-believe thing that we like exchange for other things.
Yes.
And it's honestly, from having the fucking 1% in power, it's fucked over mostly everybody. So, except the
seriously.
1%.
I mean, I can't get over that we're like ruining real natural resources and destroying entire communities for like this fake thing.
100%. And it just hasn't been working. And I also can't even believe that there's some people. This is why it's so important to vote, too.
Oh my
It's
God.
so important to vote. If you're not registered, register. It's so important because we cannot have this for another fucking 4 years. It feels like it's been 8. Doesn't it?
I can't even remember the Obama administration at
my
this
God,
point.
but-
Like, I look back on it like, it was so peaceful.
I know. And then when Obama came out and made that speech last week, I was like, finally, we have a leader.
Well, he's filling in for Trump, who was hiding in his fucking bunker.
No, I know, yeah. And then he got embarrassed that everyone called him out on hiding in his bunker, so
I
he
know.
said he went to go down to inspect it, which is like
Come on. Like, he's ever inspected anything in his life.
nothing.
I know.
There's this somebody tweeted this photo of it was Trump and fucking Melania, and they look so scary in it, and they were like in a church holding hands, and it was a meme, and the caption said, the family that comes to adopt you in the beginning of a Tim Burton movie, like the evil.
Oh my God, yeah.
And if you saw the image, it was like fucking exactly that. It was amazing. I was like, that is exactly what they're like, fucking terrorists.
I know. Something is deeply wrong with him. My friend was like, this is what happens when you don't love your sons. When you don't hug your sons, when you don't love your children.
I know, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I think it's been really cool to see. I mean, I saw on television because I went to college in Orange County, which I got there and I was like, this shit is white.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
I'm
like
white.
very red, right? Isn't it very like,
It's
Republican?
fucking gross.
Yeah.
I just remember being there and being like, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. I don't know where I was going with this or how this came up.
Because, I mean, you grew up in the Valley, right?
I grew up in the Valley, so I was around different cultures and stuff, but not still in a bubble. If I'm being completely honest, I mean, yeah, 100% in a bubble. And then when I got to college, I was still in a bubble, but it was like so sterile and so fucking boring to me.
I mean, all I know about Orange County really is the fair and like the OC show.
Yeah, the OC fair.
The OC fair and that show, the OC. And then like
It's like even the show is the whitest show of all time. It's like Misha Barton
totally
reflecting on her issues, looking out at like a window while the ocean's just like in the background. It's like, what's happening? And then they're like, oh yeah, Chino, it's a bad neighborhood. Don't go over there.
Oh, really?
It's like a whole fucking thing. Yeah, no. I saw that. This is why I brought up Orange County. I saw that in Newport Beach they were protesting, and that made me feel really inspired.
That's
because
amazing.
That is like the whitest area I've ever been to in my fucking life.
they were just protesting to like get haircuts a few weeks
I know.
ago.
It's like you got to be. Yeah, the people. If the people in the middle of the country who are protesting to get back to business,
totally get back into the streets and advocate for Black lives.
100%.
Advocate for people of color.
100%.
I feel like something that's super inspiring to me is just the way that I've seen a lot of people reform themselves and really become allies, like really get information, change their opinion in real time, own up to some things that maybe they've said or done in the past, and like start giving resources out. I've seen so many of my friends doing that, like my white friends really recognizing the fact that they do have a privilege. I somewhat hate that term white privilege. There's part of me that has a problem with it because it's not very encompassing. I think that what white people have are basic human rights that have been denied to people of color for centuries. So it's not just a privilege to be white. You literally have human rights.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
But it's so inspiring, and I would really recommend people look into other figures who are white who have used their power and their opportunities to elevate people of color. Like one of my favorites is Jimmy Iovine. He's a music producer. Yeah.
With
Dre.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. A lot of times what happens is that people will come in and profit off of people of color. But Jimmy like really worked with Dre and elevated him, and then he changed the entire city of Compton.
I mean, what's that movie called?
The Defiant Ones.
Defiant Ones.
Yeah.
Defiant Ones was so fucking good.
It was so fucking good.
It feels like that came out forever ago.
I mean, it was probably like maybe it wasn't even that long ago.
It's like if you liked Defiant Ones or you fucking liked the Michael Jordan documentary, you fucking better be out there.
Totally.
You better be fucking doing your part.
Yeah, if you
don't
listen
get
to hip hop.
Yeah, if you listen to fucking hip hop, if you do anything that's like, if you celebrate Black culture but you're not out there making sure that you're an ally, then you're doing something wrong.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
to not say anything at this point and to just not address it is it's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you really said it there. It's like, I think this really is a white people issue that needs to get
100%.
fixed. You know, like, we are collateral damage of the system who has seen us as second class ever since they brought us over here on these slave ships.
And everything was written to benefit white men.
Definitely. And if you are white, you benefit from that, you know?
100%. And if you're a woman and you're not out there doing your part, but you're out there protesting for women's rights, like, come on.
For sure.
We got to do all of the things.
I mean,
we don't get to pick and choose.
Well, there's a history of white women siding with white supremacy in order to gain their own rights.
I mean, I'm sure that there's a bunch of white women that voted for Trump. But now that we have the information to continue...
Do better, white women.
Yes.
I love you.
Come on, do
Like,
better,
come
bitches.
on,
If you want to be a real queen, you got to do better.
For sure. Do not vote for Trump. Look into the suffragette movement. Look at how you got your rights to vote. It was basically, they appealed to the white men in power, in the powers that be, and were like, we can oppress the Black community by giving us the right to vote. So they align themselves with white supremacy in order to gain the right to vote.
That's insane.
So white women, that is why you can do what you can do now.
It's insane. It's just, there's so much.
Oh, I mean, it's level.
It's so layered. It's so systemically fucked. And once you start to see you see it, it's like hard to unsee it too. I feel like if you're a human. I mean, something that really. There was a video, it was caught on CNN, of the guy who was reporting, and they took him.
Yeah, they arrested him and his team.
No.
Yeah.
That video, I started bawling. It was so upsetting. It was like, he's doing his fucking job.
Yeah, but he's a Black man.
He's a Black man doing his job. And and just watching that video, it's like, that's what happens every day, all of the time. And it just was on camera right then.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how healing it's been to see this recognized, because this is something that people of color, that Black people have talked about specifically forever.
I know. I'm like listening to Tupac Changes. I'm like, literally, this came out so fucking long ago, and he's saying everything that's still happening.
And the only thing that's changed is that we have cell phone cameras now. So get your fucking cell phone out if you see anything and film it, because this is the only way that we can make any sort of change now. We're really opening people's eyes through this. I remember I just watched a video of 2 cops drag a protester right behind a dumpster behind an alley and look to see if anyone was filming. And then they beat the shit out of him. And someone from an upstairs window in an apartment was filming and caught it on their cell phone camera. So they fucking know. I think it's Arizona that's trying to pass a law that makes it illegal to
I
film
did read
cops.
that about Arizona.
Yeah, they know that we're on to them. Big Brother's been watching us for a long time, and it's time for us to step up and watch Big Brother, call them out on this bullshit.
I like this.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Bye, Big Brother.
Bye.
It's like we are living in like a dystopian hell. By the way.
Oh, yeah, we have.
By the way, we've been living in a dystopian hell.
But we've been doing it forever.
I know, and now we can just see it. Now that we've all been in our rooms.
Yeah.
It's so fucked. That's what it takes. It takes everyone being sent to their rooms.
I mean, it's so fucked up. We're sent to our rooms because of the pandemic. So now we have to actually see what's going on in the world.
I know.
I will say that this is something that has been going on for 400 years to Black people. And whereas maybe some of you who are allies feel tired, feel overwhelmed, are shocked, this has been our reality since we've been here. And so for me, at least, it's so healing and hopeful to see people really educate themselves and come together and use their voices to create systemic change.
Yeah, it needs to happen. And I'm so glad that you came on to talk about it. But before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about what you've been working on. Like, can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you filmed something?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a writer, director, and actress. I've been married to my husband for a very long time. We separated like 6 years ago for 6 months. We ended up having like a rumspringer where we were kind of crazy, and
You're like, fuck it, let's explore.
yeah, explored, did the drugs, did all the things.
Okay.
Yeah, had kind of a secondary adolescence, and then we got back together, and I took all of that, and along with my writing partner, we wrote a comedy show. So we have like an entire season that we've written, and then we shot the pilot as proof of concept, and I'm in the pilot. So right now we're just shopping that around.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is there anything online, or where can people find
you? You can actually watch the trailer if you'd like to.
Yeah.
It's right now. It's only on Film Freeway, but it's kind of like an internal thing that we're sending out.
Circulating.
Yeah, circulating right now.
Okay.
I'm pretty stoked about some new developments. There've been a lot of like white showrunners and creators that have reached out and been interested in the project like no other, and actually watched it and are like, "This is great," because I've had like no opportunity since I've been here.
So you've had to create your own
I've had to create my own.
And it's cool that it's starting to pay off.
Yeah,
and people
sure.
are starting to see it. You know what I mean? Because if you do, that's one thing that I will say, like, if you want to just make shit, just start making shit. You know, and then people will be able to be like, oh, okay, you can make that? Cool. Now I can see you here. I can see you there. Like, especially like as a comedian, just waiting for opportunities doesn't work. So
No,
it's cool that you've been able to
especially like Black people listening, make your own shit. Nobody is looking for you. No one's looking for you. They're looking for like the next Tom Cruise, maybe, or the next Chris Pratt.
We don't need any more Tom Cruises.
We don't need any more. But they're not looking for you, except for maybe now. Now they are.
They better be.
Yeah.
They fucking better be looking for it.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. We've been marginalized for so long.
It's time.
We have stories to tell.
It's time.
And
probably way more interesting than some of the stories that are out there.
Yep. I mean, and
we don't need another vampire show.
We don't need another show about some dude, like white dude getting over a breakup.
No.
Please don't show me that anymore.
I'm so sick of the white struggle.
Yes. I'm also sick of watching the Black struggle, though. I don't necessarily want to watch slavery every single time, you know?
Let's see some interesting stories about living life.
Totally.
As a Black person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, just living life. I want to see like maybe my Legally Blonde or something, or, you know?
Yeah. A remake of Legally Blonde.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I want to see more interracial relationships. I'm in one.
Yes.
Like, can we see that on screen more?
Let's see that more. How has it been being an interracial relationship?
It's been so... I mean, we talk about race all of the time.
You guys do?
Yeah, we have to. We have to.
I love that.
Because of who I am.
Yeah.
We have to. But so he's definitely had his eyes open to a lot of things. My husband is white. And he's from a community in Oregon, which is like the whitest community in the United States. Oregon is very, very...
Very white.
Very white on purpose. That was by design by the state as a really racist past. So he's definitely had his eyes open too. And it has been really interesting and amazing to just kind of see how he has grown and how he's changed. And I think that's something that I really want to say, that if you're an ally out there, it's okay for you to make mistakes. Like, go easy on yourself. If you're feeling shame, that is not a helpful or productive emotion. Just try to work through it. You know, like, you're doing your best. This is a doctrine that we are all given. I was given it myself. You know, I had to realize just the deep hatred of my Blackness that I've had to work through. And now I'm at the point where I can even have these kinds of conversations publicly because of years of undoing programming. So as an ally, educate yourself. Don't spend time beating yourself up. Please don't reach out to your Black friends for resources, though. Use Google.
Yeah.
Work tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just hit up your black friend and say, hey, tell me what I should do.
Totally.
That's like number one thing not to do.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, hey, yeah, just, it's time for us to join the fight.
My name's not Siri. My people have done enough free labor.
Yes.
Like,
fucking Google some shit.
Google some shit and go easy on yourself. You're learning. That said, take a hard look at what you believe. Like, you can't change where you come from, but you can change where you're going. I myself have had to change a lot of things. I know I grew up very, very Christian. I had a lot of bad doctrine because of that. I had things that I had to work out. The evangelical Christianity in the U.S. is like super tied to racism.
I mean,
yeah.
the evangelicals are fucking wild. They're fucking bonkers.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So yeah, just take a hard assessment at your ideology, but go easy on yourself emotionally.
I love that. That's helpful because it's like, yeah, when, like, I don't know, it's been interesting because I think that so many white people are like, what do I do? I'm afraid of doing the wrong thing. It's like, just do something.
Just take action.
Please take some type of action. And you don't have, you can do, like, think about how you can make change in the field that you're in.
For sure.
Too. You know what I mean? Like, it could be like, okay, look around your office and say, okay, are there enough black people in my office? Am I working with enough black people? If not, can you make a change? Can you email people in positions of power about that? I mean, for me, there was a petition that got started from my high school. I went to an all-girls fucking Catholic high school. Signed this petition because I don't ever remember seeing a black teacher at school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At all. You know what I mean? And like, that's a problem. And just start with making changes in your community, where you can. And I think just keep building. And if you're tired, fucking suck it up, because black people have been tired this whole fucking time.
We've been tired for 400 years, guys.
Yeah. It's like, nobody wants to hear how you're tired, bitch.
Yeah. If you
Karen, nobody cares that you're tired.
If you're tired, that is a valid emotion. I will say this. Talk to your white friends about it. I don't fucking want to hear it, though. I don't want to hear it.
I respect that. Okay, so where can people find you?
You can find me on social. My handle is Charlene Westbrook.
Okay, we'll link to that in the description.
Cool. That's most of my stuff. Yeah, check me out on there.
Okay, and before we wrap up, I want to give you a pair of socks.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I love socks.
Okay.
They're like my favorite gift.
You can pick out. They're very wild socks. They're from Oh Yeah Socks. You can pick out 2 pairs of socks from this bag.
Oh, no. I think I just...
It's okay. Oh, that's fine. Right? You can still hear her.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Oh my God, hot dogs. I'm going to take the alien ones.
Yes.
They're coming next, guys.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. We can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was so much fun. I want to have you back on because I feel like this is such a good conversation. We want to keep it going.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the socks.
100%.
The truth is out there.
Yes.
We're not alone.
You heard it here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Shake.